Hello everybody and welcome to the Battle of White Plains custom multiplayer game. My name is Blake. I am the host here on our YouTube channel with the American Civil War Gaming Club. As you might have watched in the past, I try to bring you guys these customized after-action reports whenever I can. I always find them to be a lot of fun to create, and I know a lot of people enjoy watching them. So here we go. This is the start of a new battle. This is a double-blind custom multiplayer game. If you are unsure about what exactly that means, there are some links down below where you can check it out. But real quick, it basically means that neither side will be able to look at this map before the battle actually starts. They aren't sure of the number of the enemies on the other side of the field, their arrival locations, or anything like that. It just takes two armies, puts them on the battlefield, and the players must scout and fight the battle without any knowledge going into it about the enemy's strength, location, or anything like that. The rules for this multiplayer game are on the screen there. Nothing really out of the ordinary with the optional rules. We did do an 8-gun per hex limit, and in my game, as always, there are communication rules in place. That means the players on the teams can only communicate with each other at the top of the even hours during gameplay. The backstory behind the Battle of White Plains. Feel free to hit pause here if you would like to read it all the way through. What is going on here is that John Pope with the Army of Virginia is moving part of his army to confront a corps from the Confederates, which is moving up to the west of the Bull Run Mountains. These two armies are going to collide around the White Plains area and fight a battle on that side of the mountain. Here is White Plains in the center of the map there. And McDowell will be leading the Federal 3rd Corps up against Jackson's Corps coming from the south. Both corps, of course, have a number of divisions with them. The Confederates will be advancing along these main roads with their forces, while the Federals will be coming down from the north along any one of these roads with theirs. The two armies on the battlefield, for the Confederates, they have 22,000 men, all from Jackson's Corps, and the Federals have 27,000 men, mostly from the 3rd Corps of the Army of Virginia, but also reinforced by the 2nd Division of the 5th Corps from the Army of the Potomac. So this will give them a little bit of a manpower edge. They also have 16 additional guns. The Confederates have better command and leadership ratings, along with a higher quality of infantry. The Confederates do have 500 cavalrymen on the field, while the Federals have none. Now, with victory conditions in my multiplayer games, they are pretty unique, so let's go over those just real quick. There are two ways to win this game, either strategically or militarily. Winning strategically requires one side or the other to capture and hold the majority of the objective hexes at the end of the scenario or the battle. The side that holds the majority of the objective hexes can win the battle strategically in this game. Now, as far as winning strategically and the hexes and the armies, how does that work exactly? Well, let's take a look at the map here. As mentioned before, the objective of White Plains is in the center of the map right there, but there are 3 other objectives on this map. Beginning in the west, there is Brooks Corner. And then, just in the middle of White Plains and Brooks Corner is Midway. That is the 3rd objective on the map. And lastly, the objective of Broad Run, which is a little bit more on the southern part of the map. Let's go ahead and actually zoom in a bit here and take a better look at these objective hexes. Beginning first with Broad Run, this is the objective that's probably going to be in the Confederate column because of its position further to the south on this map. But it is dominated by higher ground both to the northeast and to the south. So if there is a battle around this objective point, it's going to be pretty hard to hold for one side or the other. Moving now to White Plains itself on the map. This is a situation much like Broad Run in which the area is dominated by high ground once more to the northeast and to the south. The Confederates do have high ground to utilize south of White Plains, but they have no trails or roads to get to that high ground. So it's going to be hard to get artillery up there to defend White Plains from that direction. For the Northern Army, if they do advance on the White Plains from the northeast, they also have higher ground and they have roads to quickly move their artillery into place. I think that's going to work in their advantage. White Plains might appear to be more of a Confederate bastion, but if you really look at the geography, it might not play out that way, depending on the choices that the commanders make. Moving now to the west just a little bit here, we go from White Plains to Midway. Midway is located, obviously, midway between Brooks Corner and White Plains. This is probably going to be the most Union-friendly of the objectives on the map. There is no direct road to reach this objective point from the southern part of the battlefield, and I'm not really sure if the Confederates are going to be able to reach this without an offensive movement. So this seems to be the more Union-friendly objective of the four. It is an open field objective, which is going to make it a little bit difficult for one side or the other to entrench around it and just try to hold it if they are attacked frontally. But just given its location, I don't really see either side trying to hold this long term. I see them trying to grab it and move to either the east or the west to go after the other objectives. And the final objective on the map is on the western edge of the map. It is Brooks Corner. This objective is pushed up against the edge of the board, though there is better ground north of the objective where there are some higher plateau areas where the Federals could, theoretically, set up some guns and lay a covering fire down on Brooks Corner. If there is a battle here, I think it's going to be pretty evenly fought. Alright, well those are the four objectives on the map. When we zoom back out, I'll show them all to you at once. And there you go. So the two armies are going to collide somewhere around all these objective points. And the side that holds 3 of the 4 of them at the end of the battle can win the game strategically. If they both hold 2 objective points, the battle will end in a draw. Now, winning strategically is only one way that you can win these games. There is another way. You can win the game militarily, and this requires that one side or the other inflict heavy enough losses on their opponents to force them to retreat from the field. How does a military victory work exactly? Well, let's do a quick example. On the left-hand side there, you'll see a victory dialogue. And in my games, the infantry, cavalry, artillery, supply, and leader points lost are all added up for each side until one or the other crosses their threshold. And if that happens, their opponent automatically wins the game militarily. In this particular game, the point limits for the two sides are 4,500 for the Federals and 3,900 for the Confederates. This is about 1/3 of their armies, which I would argue Civil War armies very rarely ever got to that 1/3 threshold as far as casualties in their armies went. Civil War armies could not take such high loss rates and would disengage rather than continue to fight in a battle with such high losses. Now, what do these points really mean? Well, for the Confederates, 3,900 points would be about 7,500 infantrymen, 200 cavalrymen, 20 artillery pieces, and 200 supply point losses. If they took all those casualties, they would hit their 3,900 points and be forced to retreat from the field, giving the victory to the Federals. For the Federals, their 4,500 points is about 9,500 infantrymen and about 25 artillery pieces. So you can kind of see that it's going to be a bloody battle one way or the other. It just depends on whether one side or the other can win militarily or strategically. Alright, to quickly recap what's going to happen here. It is August 29th, 1862 in this battle. There are 28 turns in the game, along with 22,000 Confederates arriving from the south and 27,000 Federals arriving from the north. The two teams will have an opportunity to select one of 4 different battle plans. In all 4 battle plans, the Federals do arrive from the north and the Confederates from the south. They will have different options as far as shifting a division to the west or to the east, but generally speaking, these are the directions that the two sides will be arriving from. Alright everybody, thank you for watching as always. In the next episode, we will discuss the plans chosen by the two sides for this battle, and we will observe the first few turns of the battle itself as the armies begin to march towards one another and White Plains. I appreciate everyone who has watched. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like on here. Also check out the American Civil War Gaming Club at acwgc.net. We are always looking for new members and we're always playing multiplayer games. It's just a really fun place to enjoy the WDS Civil War Library. Until next time everybody, keep gaming.